She opened my door, dropped her robe, and said, "I'm not leaving tonight." Inside, Alex hunched over a glowing console, carefully analyzing samples of alien plants he had collected that morning. His glasses reflected the soft blue light of the display, and a thin layer of sweat covered his forehead. This planet was strange, beautiful, and dangerous all at once. Strange plants with translucent leaves, glowing mushrooms scattered across the forest floor, and the distant hum of unknown creatures created a sense of wonder, but also caution. Alex had spent months here, alone most of the time, cataloging flora and trying to understand the energy fields that pulsed faintly in the soil. He barely noticed the sound at first, a soft, deliberate knock at the door. It wasn't the usual warning alarms or system alerts. This knock was different, human, almost polite. Alex frowned and leaned back in his chair. "Who could that be? I'm the only one here," he muttered. He got up slowly, each step echoing across the metal floor. The hallway was dim, illuminated by strips of orange light that traced the edges of the walls. His hand trembled slightly as he reached for the door handle. When he opened it, he froze. A figure stood in the doorway, water dripping from sleek, dark hair. The person, if a human it were, was taller than Alex remembered any human being. But the skin was pale lavender, and the eyes glowed faintly gold, reflecting the light like molten metal. The figure's robe, once flowing and elegant, hung soaked and clinging. Without hesitation, she let it fall to the floor. Alex's brain short-circuited for a moment, trying to process the scene. But when he finally looked properly, he realized it was not what he had feared. She was wearing a form-fitting protective suit underneath, sleek and clearly designed for environmental hazards. The robe had covered it, giving her an almost ceremonial appearance. Now, standing there, she looked calm, confident, and completely at ease. "I'm not leaving tonight," she said simply. Her voice was melodic, with a tone that suggested authority and warmth at the same time. Alex blinked several times. "IUH what?" "My shuttle," she explained, stepping forward slightly. "It was damaged by the storm. Until it is repaired, your quarters are the safest place I can stay. Do you object?" Alex shook his head quickly. No, of course not. I mean, come in." He stepped aside, trying to appear normal while his mind raced. Humans were social creatures. He had been alone for months, and now an alien visitor, tall, confident, and dripping wet, was standing in his doorway claiming his quarters. "Thank you," she said, walking past him. Each step was precise, almost graceful, but it didn't feel threatening. She moved toward the corner of the room where a small alcove could serve as a temporary sleeping and equipment area. Alex closed the door behind her and leaned against it, exhaling slowly. "I need a moment," he muttered to himself. She glanced back at him and raised an eyebrow. "Take all the moments you need, I am patient." There was humor in her tone, subtle but noticeable. Alex felt a flicker of relief. At least she wasn't hostile. He swallowed hard. "Right, okay. Let MEUH set up a place for you. You can't just stay on the floor." Lyra, he realized he didn't even know her name, yet nodded. "That will be appreciated." Alex moved quickly, pulling out a small folding cot, a thermal blanket, and a few cushions. He set them up in the alcove, making it as comfortable as possible with the limited space. All the while, he tried to avoid staring too much, telling himself he was being polite. "You have a lot of equipment," he said finally, noticing the strange devices Lyra carried. They were compact, metallic, and glowed faintly with energy. "Do you need help setting it up?" She smiled faintly, the first real expression of friendliness Alex had seen on her face. "Perhaps. Some of it requires precise alignment with local magnetic fields. I suspect you humans have little experience with such technology." Alex laughed nervously. "You could say that. But I do know how to tinker." He stepped closer and helped her arrange the equipment on a small metal table. The devices emitted soft pulses of light as they activated, scanning the room and the nearby forest. As the machines hummed quietly, the tension between them eased. Alex realized she wasn't just a stranger. She was intelligent, skilled, and aware. And she was here because she needed his help. "What's your name?" he asked cautiously. "Lyra," she replied simply. "And yours?" "Alex," he said. "Alex Warren." "Pleasure, Alex Warren," Lyra said, her voice carrying a melodic warmth that seemed to fill the room. They spent the next hour talking, exchanging stories of their worlds. Alex described life on Earth, the simplicity and complexity of human civilization, and the strange challenges of colonizing a new planet. Lyra shared glimpses of her home planet, a world of advanced technology and intricate social structures. Despite the differences, they found common ground in curiosity, resourcefulness, and problem-solving. Then the storm outside intensified. Rain pounded against the reinforced windows, and lightning illuminated the alien forest in brief, dazzling flashes. Alex and Lyra paused, watching the display. The storm was dangerous but also beautiful, and the planet seemed alive in a way he had never imagined. "I can monitor the storm from here," Lyra said. "Your building is well protected." But the forest, it reacts strangely to extreme energy. The trees emit pulses during high electrical activity. Alex frowned. "Pulses, like electricity." "Yes, but more. Life energy, perhaps. It interacts with magnetic fields and certain crystals." "Fascinating." She bent slightly over one of her devices, adjusting settings. "I have never seen anything like it on my world." Alex couldn't help but feel proud. Human science may not have reached her level, but here they were, observing and learning together. He felt the familiar spark of excitement he had always loved, the thrill of discovery. Hours passed. The storm slowly eased, leaving the forest damp and glowing faintly from bioluminescent plants. Lyra checked her equipment, nodding at the readings. Everything appeared stable. Alex yawned and rubbed his eyes. "I should get some sleep soon, long day." Lyra looked at him curiously. "Sleep? Humans require such vulnerable rest periods." "Yes," Alex said with a small smile, "but it's necessary. I'll be useless without it." She studied him silently for a moment, then nodded. "I will not disturb you." She stepped back toward her cot area, arranging her devices so that they could function while she rested. Alex watched her for a moment, struck by the contrast between her confidence and vulnerability. Here was an alien being, advanced, skilled, and far from home, yet she trusted him enough to stay in his quarters. It was humbling. "Thank you," he said quietly. Lyra turned her head slightly. "Humans are interesting, Alex Warren. I suspect you will survive many challenges on this planet, perhaps even leave a mark." Alex chuckled. "I hope so." They settled into quiet routines. He on his side of the room, reading data files and logging observations. She on hers, monitoring her devices and occasionally adjusting them. Despite the initial tension, a sense of camaraderie began to form. Before sleep finally claimed him, Alex glanced at Lyra, noting how her eyes reflected the soft lights of the equipment. "She's incredible," he thought, "and I get to work with her." Somehow this storm brought more than rain. The outpost was quiet now, the storm a memory. Outside, the alien forest pulsed faintly, as if acknowledging the unusual alliance inside. Humans were fragile, yet capable of so much. And tonight, Alex felt the truth of that more than ever. Lyra turned slightly, her gaze meeting his. "Do not worry, Alex. I am not leaving tonight." He smiled, finally understanding. It wasn't just the storm that had brought her here. It was curiosity, trust, and a shared desire to explore. And in that moment, Alex realized that sometimes the universe could surprise you in ways you never imagined. Morning came slowly to the outpost. The twin suns of the planet rose in pale shades of pink and orange, casting long shadows across the metallic walls. Alex rubbed his eyes and stretched, still feeling the remnants of sleep from the previous night. He glanced toward Lyra's cot and saw her already awake, adjusting the devices around her. Her eyes glowed faintly gold in the morning light, reflecting intelligence and focus in a way that always fascinated him. "Good morning," he said, careful to keep his voice calm despite the lingering thrill from yesterday's encounter. Lyra turned her head and gave a faint smile. "Morning, Alex. Did you sleep well?" "Decently," he admitted. "I'm not used to company." "Perhaps," she said, tilting her head slightly, "but I find observing humans enlightening." Alex laughed softly, grabbing a small cup of synthesized coffee from the counter. "I'll take that as a compliment." After a quick breakfast of nutrient paste and fruit from the outpost's small hydroponics lab, Alex and Lyra prepared to leave the safety of the building. Today, the plan was simple. Explore the nearby alien forest to study the energy fluctuations the storm had caused last night. But as Alex quickly realized, simple rarely meant easy when Lyra was involved. The forest stretched endlessly around the outpost, trees tall and slender with luminous veins running along their trunks. Strange flowers opened their petals slowly, responding to the light of the suns, while mushrooms clustered like miniature glowing lanterns at the base of the foliage. Every sound, from the chirp of alien birds to the soft hum of hidden insects, felt alive. Lyra walked ahead, moving with ease and confidence. "This forest is more active after storms," she explained. "The energy in the soil and flora rises. It interacts with magnetic fields differently. We may find unusual readings." Alex followed, notebook and handheld scanner in hand. "Unusual readings, huh? Sounds promising." They walked in silence for a few minutes, absorbing the strange beauty around them. Alex noticed subtle patterns in the forest. Some plants grew in spirals, some glowed brighter when near other life forms. Every step seemed to reveal something new. Then, the scanners started to beep. Lyra crouched quickly, placing her hand near a cluster of crystal-like plants. "Do you feel that?" she asked. Her suit emitted a soft glow as it synchronized with the nearby energy. Alex knelt beside her, holding his scanner over the same spot. The reading spiked unexpectedly. "That's intense," he murmured. "I've never seen energy like this." "It's almost like it's alive." Lyra nodded, her eyes wide with fascination. "Precisely. This is rare. These crystals resonate with both alien and human technology. It is an intersection, a convergence of natural and artificial energies." Alex's pulse quickened. This was the kind of discovery he had always dreamed of, something beyond mere cataloging of plants and minerals. Something alive, interactive, and perhaps capable of reshaping human understanding of energy itself. "Can we take a sample?" Alex asked eagerly. Lyra shook her head. "We cannot remove it. Doing so may destabilize the forest ecosystem. Observation is safer, but we can study its energy signature here." They spent hours mapping the area, recording data, and observing how the crystals interacted with different types of human and alien instruments. Alex suggested slight adjustments to his scanner, and Lyra showed him a method to harmonize it with the magnetic fields. Together, they managed to amplify the readings without touching the crystals themselves. "This is incredible," Alex whispered. "I never thought humans could interact with something like this so safely and efficiently." Lyra glanced at him, her expression calm but with a hint of admiration. "Your species is underestimated in many ways. Your creativity and adaptability impressive." Alex smiled. "Thanks. That means a lot coming from someone like you." They worked in tandem for several hours. Alex noticed something. Despite the initial awkwardness when she first arrived, Lyra now seemed almost comfortable around him. Her respect was not just for his technology, but for the way he thought, human curiosity, ingenuity, and caution. As the suns climbed higher, a small tremor shook the ground. Leaves and branches rattled overhead. Alex froze instinctively, shielding his scanner. Lyra's eyes narrowed. "Seismic activity, minor but sudden, stay close." A series of vibrations moved through the forest floor, and small rocks tumbled near their feet. Alex realized just how fragile they both were compared to the planet's sheer power. Yet even in danger, Lyra moved with ease, guiding him around unstable areas and pointing out safe paths. "You move differently," Alex said, breathless. "You're faster than any human I've ever seen." Lyra smiled faintly. "Experience. Your species relies on ingenuity, not just strength. We each have advantages." Alex nodded, inspired. It was a humbling reminder. Humans were not the strongest, but their mind, adaptability, and courage made them formidable in unexpected ways. After the tremor subsided, they reached a clearing where the energy crystals were most concentrated. Sunlight filtered through the canopy, casting a rainbow of colors across the glowing flora. Alex and Lyra stood side by side, scanning the area. "This is extraordinary," Alex said. "It's like the forest is alive in a way I've never imagined." Lyra's voice was soft. "It responds to curiosity. It rewards understanding and respect. Observe, and it may reveal more than just data." Alex moved carefully among the crystals, recording measurements. The scanners detected subtle pulses, harmonics of energy that seemed to respond to thought. He focused, imagining a connection, and watched as one crystal glowed brighter in response. Lyra observed quietly. "You are influencing it," she said. "Humans have a unique energy signature. Your mind, your focus, it resonates." Alex's eyes widened. "I didn't realize." "Yes," Lyra said, nodding. "Your species has potential far beyond what is often believed, not just here but anywhere." They spent the afternoon experimenting with different devices, noting patterns and energy flows. The synergy between Alex's human ingenuity and Lyra's alien technology was astonishing. Each problem solved together felt like a victory, and with each discovery, their mutual respect grew. As the suns began to set, the forest glowed in a mixture of natural bioluminescence and residual energy from the crystals. Alex and Lyra paused, leaning against a large, pulsing tree. The quiet was profound, broken only by distant alien calls and the soft hum of their instruments. "You humans, you do not fear the unknown," Lyra said softly. "You explore it, adapt to it. Conquer it not by force but by mind. That is admirable." Alex smiled, humbled. "We survive by learning, by thinking, by trying even when we don't know the outcome." Lyra tilted her head, watching him with faint curiosity. "Perhaps that is why I am not leaving tonight." Alex blinked. "You again? I thought your shuttle repairs can wait," she said, interrupting gently. "The night offers more than travel. It offers observation, learning, connection." Alex laughed softly. "You make it sound poetic." Lyra smiled faintly. "Perhaps. But observation and understanding are powerful. And tonight, I wish to continue both." As darkness fell, they set up a temporary monitoring station in the clearing. Soft lights from the devices illuminated the area, casting long shadows across the glowing flora. Alex adjusted the instruments while Lyra fine-tuned her own, and for hours they observed the energy pulses, learning their rhythms and subtle patterns. "Alex," Lyra said finally, her tone quiet, "your species surprises me. You think, you question, you imagine. You are fragile yet resilient. You are weak yet clever. That is remarkable." Alex felt a rush of pride, not arrogance but recognition. Human resilience, creativity, and courage had survived the harshest conditions here, and now they were admired by an alien observer. "You know," he said slowly, "I think the universe might underestimate humans a lot. We're small, but we find ways." Lyra nodded. "Yes, that is why I trust you. Tonight I learn but also admire." Hours passed. Stars twinkled through gaps in the canopy, the forest pulsed faintly with energy, and the two worked in tandem. When they finally returned to the outpost, both were tired but exhilarated. Alex helped Lyra secure her devices in the quarters. "Tomorrow," he said, "we'll continue. There's so much more to explore. I think we barely scratched the surface." Lyra's eyes gleamed softly. "Indeed, and with your species' ingenuity, who knows what we may uncover." As Alex settled into his own side of the room, he reflected on the day. This was more than discovery. It was partnership. Human ingenuity combined with alien technology, curiosity blending with knowledge. And he realized something profound. Humans had potential, not just to survive, but to leave a mark wherever they went. Lyra lay back, monitoring her instruments, and spoke softly, almost to herself. Not leaving tonight, not yet. There is too much to learn and perhaps too much to admire. Alex smiled quietly. Despite the strangeness, despite the alien world, he felt at home in a way he never had. Together, they had begun something extraordinary, a partnership, a discovery, and a moment of understanding between two species at the edge of the galaxy. The night was alive, the forest glowed faintly, and for the first time since arriving, Alex felt the real weight of possibility. The next day dawned with an unusual stillness. The twin suns rose slowly over the horizon, casting long shadows across the alien forest, as if the world itself were holding its breath. Alex and Lyra stepped outside the outpost, ready to continue their study of the energy crystals they had discovered. Alex felt a quiet excitement as he glanced at Lyra. Yesterday had been incredible, working together, learning from each other, but he sensed that today would be different. The forest seemed to hum beneath their feet, alive in a way that even yesterday had not revealed. "Something feels stronger today," Alex said, scanning the ground ahead with his handheld device. The readings pulsed erratically, the crystals there reacting more than yesterday. Lyra's eyes glowed faintly gold as she crouched near a cluster of glowing mushrooms. "The convergence is at its peak. These pulses indicate that energy flows are aligning. We must be careful. Overstimulation may destabilize the area," Alex nodded. "Careful, yes, but also we can't ignore this. It's too important." They moved together through the forest, careful to step around sensitive plants and glowing fungi. Each step revealed more patterns in the energy. Shimmering lines running along tree roots, subtle vibrations in the soil, and small crystals embedded deep in the earth. Every device they carried amplified the pulses, and Alex could feel a faint tingle in his fingertips as he held the scanner. "This is amazing," Alex whispered. "It's like the forest is alive and aware of us." Lyra nodded. "It responds to intelligence and intent. Observe with respect and it reveals itself. Attempt force or recklessness and it resists." As they reached a small clearing, the energy reading spiked dramatically. Crystals in the center glowed intensely, casting soft light on the surrounding trees. Alex and Lyra froze. The pattern was symmetrical, precise, almost geometric, as if the forest had arranged it deliberately. "I've never seen anything like this," Alex said. "It's beautiful, but why now?" Lyra crouched, her hands hovering over her devices. "The energy convergence. The storm yesterday triggered latent activity. Your presence, your curiosity all contribute. It is recognizing you." Alex felt a thrill of pride. Humans, fragile, small, unremarkable in many ways, were being acknowledged by an entire alien ecosystem. That thought filled him with awe. Suddenly, the ground trembled slightly beneath their feet. Alex took a cautious step back. "Minor quake," Lyra's eyes narrowed. "Not quite, something deeper is activating. We must approach carefully." They advanced slowly, moving toward the glowing crystal cluster. The forest's hum grew louder, almost melodic, resonating with the device's sensors. Alex felt the energy in his chest, a faint warmth spreading outward. It was unlike anything he had experienced, and yet it felt oddly familiar, like a challenge, but one that welcomed understanding rather than conflict. Alex glanced at Lyra. "This is incredible. I mean, humans have never had anything like this before." Lyra smiled faintly. "And yet your species adapts quickly. You think, experiment, and innovate. That is why I am not leaving tonight." Alex chuckled softly. "You keep saying that, but I understand now. It's not just the storm, it's us. The work we do together." Lyra nodded, her gaze fixed on the crystals. Precisely. The forest has sensed the collaboration between your mind and my devices. It is pleased. Alex adjusted his scanner, aligning it with Lyra's instrument. Together, they began mapping the energy flows, tracing pulses from the crystals to the roots of trees and the tips of luminescent leaves. Each reading was more intricate than the last, revealing hidden patterns, connections, and rhythms that seemed almost musical. Hours passed as they worked in perfect sync. Alex's human ingenuity combined with Lyra's alien knowledge created insights neither could achieve alone. He suggested minor adjustments, she recalibrated her devices, and together they observed phenomena that could revolutionize human understanding of energy interaction. "This is beyond science," Alex said, breathing heavily. "It's almost alive, responsive." Lyra glanced at him. "Life is not limited to what your species defines. Intelligence can exist in forms you have yet to imagine. Humans are capable of recognizing it and adapting. That is why you survive, why you thrive." Alex felt a surge of pride. It wasn't arrogance. He was not claiming to be better than anyone, but the recognition from Lyra and from this living ecosystem filled him with a sense of purpose. Humans had potential and he was witnessing it firsthand. Suddenly, a larger tremor shook the clearing. Branches snapped, and the ground beneath the crystals cracked slightly. Alex instinctively placed a hand on Lyra's shoulder, steadying her. "We need to step back." Lyra's eyes glowed brighter as she activated a protective field around their devices. "Yes. The convergence is reaching critical mass. We must observe, not interfere." They watched in awe as the crystals pulsed in synchronized patterns, their light expanding outward in waves. The forest itself seemed to respond, leaves rustling in harmony with the energy. Alex felt a thrill run through him. Humans were fragile, yes, but their curiosity, courage, and intelligence had brought them to this moment, standing beside an alien being in the heart of an active, living ecosystem. "This is incredible," Alex whispered. "Humans, maybe we really can make a mark in the galaxy." Lyra looked at him, her expression softening. "Your species surprises me. You are fragile yet capable, weak yet clever. You survive where others fail. That is remarkable." Alex smiled, humbled. "Thanks. That means a lot coming from someone like you." As the convergence began to fade, the crystals' glow dimmed gradually, leaving faint traces of light that mirrored the stars above. The tremors subsided, and the forest returned to its gentle hum. Alex and Lyra stepped closer, examining the aftermath. "Remarkable," Lyra murmured. "It will take centuries for your species to fully understand this, but you have glimpsed it. That is enough for now." Alex nodded, still breathing heavily. "I'll never forget this. I feel like we've been part of something bigger than ourselves." Lyra turned her gaze to him. "Indeed, and that is why I leave you with a gift." She reached into her suit and pulled out a small crystal, glowing faintly. "This is a fragment of the energy matrix. It will not work fully outside this environment, but it symbolizes what humans can achieve with curiosity, courage, and understanding." Alex accepted it carefully, holding it as if it were a treasure. "I thank you. I'll keep it safe." Lyra nodded. "And remember," Alex warned, "your species, ingenuity, courage, and curiosity are worth more than you know. Continue to explore, continue to learn, leave a mark." The repaired shuttle waited nearby, engines humming softly. Lyra moved toward it, her movements graceful and precise. Alex watched silently, a mixture of pride, awe, and something almost like sadness stirring within him. "Will you return?" he asked cautiously. Lyra glanced back, her gold eyes glowing faintly. "Perhaps, but even if I do not, the impact of this encounter will resonate. Your species will continue to surprise, to adapt, to survive. That is enough." She stepped into the shuttle, and with a gentle hum it lifted off, gliding smoothly over the alien forest. Alex watched until it disappeared into the horizon, leaving only the twin suns and the gentle glow of the forest behind. Alex took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the day settle in. The forest was quiet, yet alive, the crystals faintly pulsing in a rhythm he could feel in his chest. He looked down at the fragment of energy Lyra had given him, its glow faint but steady. He smiled quietly to himself. Humans were small, fragile, and often underestimated, but their ingenuity, courage, and curiosity were boundless. And tonight, he had proof. Returning to the outpost, Alex began logging the day's findings. His hands moved quickly, fueled by excitement and determination. Every measurement, every observation, every pulse of energy from the forest became a testament to human capability. As he worked, he thought of Lyra, of the collaboration, and of the silent acknowledgement that humans could rise to challenges beyond imagination. The universe was vast, full of wonders and dangers, but humans had something that no other species could replicate entirely: curiosity, courage, and cleverness. And Alex knew, with a certainty that filled his chest, that humans would continue to thrive, to explore, and to leave their mark, one discovery, one act of ingenuity at a time. The night fell quietly over the outpost, the forest glowing softly under the twin moons. Alex placed the crystal fragment on his desk, watching it pulse faintly. It was more than a souvenir. It was a reminder, a symbol, and a challenge. And Alex smiled, ready for whatever came next. The universe had tested humans once today, and they had proven themselves. And that was only the beginning.